Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. Just flying solo this week. It's been a few weeks of having guests, so I thought I would check in, kind of doing my own solo thing today. Got some cool guests coming up as well, so that'll be something I'll probably talk about a little bit at the end. But anyway, so since a lot of stuff's been happening with me personally, so I thought I would kind of get into it a little bit today. I've had 4 shows, so I've had the big coming back show was at Distill Brewery here in Bloomington, Illinois. It was kind of I had other shows booked at other places, and it turns out that those all were canceled, so, I wasn't going to have any show, really. And I had a last-minute kind of pickup show at Distill, and just ended up was Dave and I. That's how we decided to do this one. It was, ultimately a lot of fun. It was, we were rusty. I mean, that's to say the least, because we hadn't played a show in like 2 months. Not together, not by ourselves. I'd been doing those live streams pretty regularly, but those I'd kind of got a little burnout on doing them. So it was nice to be in person. I mean, everything felt a little weird generally, but just to be around people and just to, sing songs that I hadn't sang in front of people, like through a PA system. I hadn't even used sang through a microphone in a long time before that. And so it was a good show. We had fun. The one weird thing, the stage was a little leaned backwards, so it was like an uphill battle, like the whole show. So I got there pretty early, set everything up, and Dave got there, maybe half hour after I did. He brought a lot of people, which was cool. And I was outside midsummer, so I was drenched in sweat before I even started. But that's pretty, standard. But it was a lot of fun. My brother came, his wife Emily came, and she had some family, and my Kevin Lyons and Kendall came. They didn't know, I don't think, that we were playing, but it just kind of happened. They happened to be there, so that was really cool to see them. And just some other people that come to our shows once in a while were there as well. So it's always good to see those repeat fan friends, and I don't know, it was a really good time. It was nice to be outside. It was nice to we played like on a lake, kind of like right in front of the lake, and I did break a couple strings, I think, which pretty classic for the summer humidity. And there were ups and downs. I think there were songs that were very, very fun and great, and then there were some that were just kind of lacking, I would say. But it was nice to have Dave there to kind of have my back a little bit, I guess. And so then that was Distill. That was probably the most fun one that we have done. I had a Clark Bar show. We were booked every Thursday, like every third Saturday of the month to play over there. And the first one that we were that was actually back on, since all of these are outside shows, and I haven't played an inside show in a really long time. But so this was outside, and it just ended up, and pretty much rained. Like, it was iffy the whole time. They said that they would give me gas money if I made the trip, so I was like, yeah, I'll roll the dice, see what happens. And it was pretty, I set up everything. Well, probably too much stuff. My kick drum. I brought my canopy to kind of keep everything dry. And it ended up, and it rained pretty bad. We had a couple good friends, fans of ours. The Tabs came. And Dave actually brought a friend of his as well. And that was it. It rained in the yard or the beer garden, so I mean we couldn't really play out there. They have a little smokers area that was covered, and the Tabs asked us if we would just do like an acoustic set there, and we probably played for like 30-40 minutes just unplugged. But I could tell the people there probably wanted to go home, the people that were working, because they weren't making like much money, and so I cut it off a little early. It was probably, we were supposed to play at 6. We probably played 6:30 to like 7:30, and we were supposed to be done by 9 anyway. So I don't know. It was definitely a little disappointing, but it was fun that we still played acoustic. I had Jenny. She's a singer, Jenny Tab. So I played a song that she could sing, and then Dave's friend sang a few songs as well. It was just like a little intimate jam session, and they were eating and drinking and all that. So, it wasn't all bad. It was a bummer to get like canceled, but it was, just a different experience than I would have guessed, so that was good. The next show I played at Kankakee Farmers Market up, obviously in Kankakee, and that was kind of a last minute pickup show as well, and I just did it solo acoustic, and it was fun. I think that one was probably, it was early, which is always a little bit rough, but I had to get up at like 6 to drive all the way to Kankakee and get everything set up, but I think it sounded good, and I think that, the first like hour of the 2 was, just getting my feet wet again, which was, it seems like since all these shows are so spread out that, every time I have to like relearn how to do it kind of, even though, I still practicing regularly and doing I've had some shows, but not a lot of shows, but it just feels like every time I do it, I'm kind of having to re-get into the groove of like setting everything up and playing. And, so I was going to kind of weave this in here, but the place beyond, playing live, the place that I have worked for 10 years, Kidder Music, closed during all this COVID stuff. So, I mean, that was a great job, a good source of income, and they really worked with my playing schedule, which was, I'd gotten to the point where I pretty much just did 3 long days, Monday through Wednesday, and then the rest of the week was pretty well mine. And of course, I don't think I appreciated it quite as much as I should have, because it was a long process to get there. Like, it was, maybe I would only work Saturdays in the summer. I was doing that for a long time, and then I was working Fridays too, and then maybe the Fridays lost the Fridays, so then I only had to work Saturdays in the summer, and then it was, okay, well, no Saturdays at all anymore, because we had a bunch of staff changing, and my boss really, Darren, he really hooked me up with a good schedule. And maybe because I'd been there for, years and years and didn't seem to be going anywhere, so he kind of put me in a really good situation. I just, looking back on it now, and I'll kind of get to why, I wish I wouldn't have taken it for granted a little bit. But, so then, I got the news that Kidder was closing in June, at the end of June. So that was after being somewhere for that long, just crazy really to me. But, so I decided to go over to the music shop, which is really the last music shop in Bloomington at this point. And I went over there and talked to some of the people, and they'd reached out to me maybe 3 months prior and said they had an opening and wondered if I would be interested in filling it. So I figured they had probably filled it long before I came in there. But since with all the COVID stuff, they hadn't really put a lot of effort into filling that void of the person that was leaving. So, it just really, it was like the stars aligned, kind of, because I found out that we were going to close at the end of June. I went into music shop the Tuesday after, and they seemed pretty open to the idea of getting me on the staff, and then interviewed Friday, had the job by Saturday. I still had to work the rest of June regular with Kidder, and then I worked all the way through, I think it was like the 4th of July, because we had some packing days at Kidder, and then started July 6th at the music shop. So, that seems great for sure, and it really, really has been nice to, would have been maybe a little bit nicer to, have a week between or something where I could kind of re-get my bearings, but they wanted me to start like before the big rental season for all the band kids to start. So I ended up and, went from one job right to the next. And at the music shop, they really did kind of go out of their way to work with my schedule like a little bit, which they don't usually do, which was, very kind. And so they gave me all day Wednesday off, because that's like my big teaching guitar lesson day. And I have 3 other days of teaching throughout the week, but I just kind of only have like 1 or 2 students on those days. So they gave me that, which was super nice. They gave me every Friday off, which was very, very nice, but they were pretty consistent about me having to do every Saturday, which, for me is fine. I'm not really that worried about it, but and they were really like, you can leave early if you have a show or something. We'll work with you on that, but you pretty much do have to work every Saturday. And they wanted me to work full-time, whereas Kidder, I was technically full-time, but with 2 different positions, because all the guitar lessons I had were through Kidder. So they kind of facilitated that, and those counted towards my overall hours. And then I was on the floor, for 25 or 30, because it's just above 30 hours that combined I was working. So it was like 35 hours or something like that per week with lessons. And lessons fluctuate, but anyway, so the music shop wanted me to work full-time with that, because they don't really facilitate the lessons. So they wanted me to do like 35 hours every week, and then I just do my lessons outside of the music shop. And so definitely taking some getting used to. I'm definitely working more hours, and it's about to get a lot more. I'm going to be doing, because their summer hours are 10 to 6 every day, and I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 10 to 5 on Saturday. But their weekly hours are changing from 10 to 6 to 10 to 7 here this next week. So it's going to be pretty intense. I'm going to be getting like 35 hours there, and then I teach. I have probably 10 or between 10 and 15 students right now outside of the music shop. So it's been pretty intense on that front. And of course, with going like having a new job, you have to learn all the, and I mean, I'm lucky. I have 10 years experience with music retail, and that's pretty much all I'm doing at the music shop. But everything, I mean, it's much bigger store, much more corporate. All the people are super nice, but, it's just, I have to learn how to do every part of, their system, and they work with a lot more brands and a lot more inventory, and they have other stores, and I don't know. It's a little overwhelming if I'm being 100% honest. But, I'm thankful that I got it, and it's just been, hard kind of to adjust to this new schedule. But, I mean, in retrospect, I don't have a lot of shows right now, so it was really a good time to switch jobs and kind of gradually build into maybe something a little crazier than I'm used to, because right now I got the hours that are a little bit less, and I don't have a lot of shows, so I'm not like playing every Friday, Saturday, which would, add a ton of extra work per week, which, I miss. I really wish that I was doing shows every Friday and Saturday, but, that'd be on top of learning everything, and working extra hours would be pretty intense all at once. So it's like I'm kind of gradually learning how to do everything, gradually getting used to the schedule, and then eventually I'll get more hours, and I will, start rebooking shows. I haven't really been pushing hard to book shows either, just because we're in kind of such a weird state for what's going on. I mean, I know that some places are actively booking, and I just don't know how I mean, if a show falls in my lap, I'm definitely taking it because I need the money, and I love playing, but like, I don't know. It seems like a not a great idea to really push it, as far as exposing myself and others, and like I said, with my new job and everything, I feel like I should kind of get used to that and get used to how this is gonna work, but it's hard. I mean, I don't want to be like poor me or anything like that, because I'm so lucky to be working, but it's the first. This would be, I'm starting almost my second month at this job, and I just feel a little overwhelmed for sure, but I'm grateful and lucky that I'm still able to work and still have a job and not having to, scrape by, which is nice. But it's definitely cutting into my extracurriculars, I think, ultimately, with, booking shows, which I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little not crazy about the idea of booking a ton of shows right now anyway, even without any of this stuff without the new job and all that, with everything going on. But also, like, it's an adjustment period, so I feel like I need to kind of get comfortable with the way things are before I really start pushing really hard to book again. But so yeah, it's been a crazy ride so far on that front. So I just wanted to mention that stuff because, I haven't been putting out as many podcasts, and I haven't been playing as many shows. And so that's kind of the underlying reason I would say that is the case. But so I had two other shows I was going to talk about. I had one other, because I talked about the Kankakee Farmers Market. I played at Clark Bar one more time, and it was just a complete flop. I mean, nobody came. I don't really know why. It was semi-nice out, and I don't know. They had mentioned something weird had happened the weekend before we played, or the week before, and it kind of got a little weird over there, I guess, for some reason. But we ended up cutting it a little early, and honestly, it was just kind of a screw around set anyway, because we pretty much were playing for Dave's brother by the end of it, which, Jimbo is his name, but he was along for the ride with Dave, and so we ended up and just played whatever he wanted to hear, or like maybe I tried some different songs and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but and then so that was the last of the four shows, so very anticlimactic. But I do have one coming up this Saturday with Blair, and that's in Pontiac for a private party at Bob and Ringo's. So it's like a surprise birthday party. So, and that'll be fun. I always like playing with Blair. It's a good time. And we did get something in the books for in the future. We're doing Blair, oh, let me try to say this correctly. Blair, Dave, Lowe, and I are playing at the Bloomington Center of the Performing Arts here in town for a virtual concert series. And, we got 2 months till we record that, and I really want to just get ready for it, So it's an hour set, and it's shot really well, and I just want to make sure that, we sound the best that we could possibly sound. Something else, too, I've been doing last couple weeks. I've been itching to play and haven't had a lot going on, so I've went out busking, which is an adventure always. But I got a cajon and a foot pedal for the cajon, so you can just kind of sit and play foot percussion, which usually I stand and play, which would be with my big kick drum and stuff would be pretty awkward to do that. And I've been going out and doing like 4-hour sets, and I make a little bit of money. Dave came to the first one, and we probably made like close to $50, which wasn't a ton, but I was just it was nice to make a little bit of money, and then it was also nice to play in front of people, and also nice to kind of get used to my new foot percussion setup, which I don't know how much I'm going to be doing that live, but for practicing and for like busking type things, or if it's just like a little acoustic show, I could do it. But it sounds really good. I think the foot pedal on the cajon has like a foot pedal that was meant for the cajon, so it has this really nice bassy sound to it. And then I use my tap shoe. And it's just, a little bit more relaxed than, because if I was standing and playing foot percussion for 4 hours, that can be a little bit much. So, and, I don't know. It's just, especially because I can't really leave or I could take a break, but I never do. I always just play for like 3.5 or 4 hours straight. But, so that's been good. I think that's been keeping me sharp. And this last one I did was Friday night, and I made like almost $80, which was, not much for a 4-hour set, but $80 for practicing, learning how to use my new foot percussion setup, and it was good. It was fun, and there's no stakes. It's just fun. I can practice some stuff maybe I wouldn't normally practice, and I don't know. And that, it feels like a true live, there's no amplification. I'm just singing. It just sounds how it sounds. No effects, no extra anything, more of a natural feel, natural sound. So, it was pretty great, really. And after I accomplish, 4 hours of that, I always feel really good about myself. It was real, it seems like, I guess. Real expression, play lots of originals, play lots of covers that I like, and I have little conversations with people that are walking by, and it's in the moment, and it's fun. So, and that's ultimately why I'm here, right? That's why I show up, because of the fun part, and I don't have to set up for I try to. That's why I got this cajon set up, foot set up, is because I can set it up really quick, sit on it, don't have to look as awkward, but I just sit and play, and real easy to set up, really easy to tear down, real natural looking, really natural sounding, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm probably going to continue doing that as much as I can, because I need it, honestly, in a lot of ways. I need the extra money. I need to practice more. I need to have the feeling of performing live, so it's been fun. So other stuff going on, I have some cool podcasts lined up. I have Cody from Chicago Farmer. He's gonna, I think, let me interview him for the podcast here in the next couple weeks or so. So that'll be something to kind of keep a lookout on. And I did recently do a podcast with Kendrick Coates and Derek Griffin. Big D. So I'm working on the editing on that before I get it out. So that'll be coming, pretty soon. And then I have Austin Willis, who's probably going to be in the mix, and Stephen Jewell, who's probably going to be in the mix. So some fun, cool interviews coming up. And anyway, that should be about it. I'll probably, I'll try to do solo pod every once in a while and, just kind of check in. I know that maybe these aren't the most exciting. It's been a little bit more fun with guests, I think. Bring more interesting topics, I think, come up, and it's just I like talking, so I kind of right up my alley, I guess. And but this is still something I need to be doing regularly anyway, just to work on my expression and work on just talking in general and getting better at it. So, and when I do end up and have guests, I don't really talk as much about like the little things, I guess. It's more like big topics, and like there's usually some sort of theme almost that we end up talking about. So, I don't really check in. This is kind of more of like me just organizing some of the stuff that's happened, some of the stuff going on in my life, and I thought that maybe I would just do the interviewing and guests kind of, but I think I'm going to be doing this like at least once or twice a month, regardless of that other stuff. Also, I think my brothers and I are probably going to be starting our own podcast as well. And it's going to be, we listen to an album, one of us pick an album, we all listen to it, and then once a month we kind of discuss it. And I don't know. I always value my brothers' opinions on music, and I get kind of the filtered down through the grapevine leads on good new music, and I really appreciate that. But then talking to some people, some of my friends and stuff, they kind of are stuck in a rut with music because they don't have anything like that. They don't have older brothers, or they don't have anybody that shows them new stuff. So not that I think that it'll be a hit or anything, but if people are looking for something new, my older brothers are definitely a great resource for that. So, and they're good at talking as well. So that's something else we're gonna end up and be doing here shortly. So that's pretty much it for today. As always, I appreciate anybody who took the time to listen, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one.